brothers and sisters who daily share their heritage with us. The idea for this really came from the city of Cleveland itself. This hall, on a monthly basis, holds events for cultures throughout our community. And when we got together and said, you know, we are such an international city with so many people who come from so many places, let us be true to that, and let us take the time to honor the people within the community who would celebrate the Jewish Heritage Month in May. Cleveland is a city of incredible people, and whether it's supermen and superwomen, like our friends who invented this mythical comic book hero, or people like our very own Rabbi Silver, who spoke to the United Nations about the importance of statehood, who preached from East 105th Street and made so many people believe in the future. Or whether it's someone who, while they weren't Jewish, was able to go and speak truth to power, and they were from Cleveland, and did so in the Olympics, like Jesse Owens, who not only won the gold for America, but won the gold for people who believed in what was right against a growing nation that decided who was wrong and how they would be exterminated. There's a lot of things we can say about all of our cultures, and I think our speakers would be able to speak to that. But there is just something so unique to the Jewish community. Whether it's the fact that this is a community that history has tried to at times annihilate, has at times tried to abrogate, or in some ways has said, you cannot be, this community is different, and has said, not only will we rebuild, but we will do so for others. There's a saying in Hebrew that taught me, which is tikkun olam, meaning that we must be about the business of repairing the world. And I can't think of a community that has been so exceptional in doing that than the Jewish community, and specifically the Jewish community in Cleveland. When I was younger, my family would often tell me the story of how they had to flee what's known as the Balkans, former Yugoslavia. And I will never, ever forget going to Hopkins Airport with members of the Jewish community who were welcoming to Cleveland people fleeing from Albania who were Kosovars, who felt that their lives were in danger, not because of what they did, but because of who they were. And I remember being there with my father, being of Slovenian heritage, and my father saying to me in Slovenian, what an amazing group of people, to care so much, to open their homes, to provide jobs, to provide so much love and comfort for people they had never met. And for my father, who went to school with Jesse Owens at the wonderful East Technical High School, to say that told me that this community has pierced not only time and generation, but culture and creed, and made people realize how absolutely special Cleveland is to be able to have so many people from the Jewish community here. Finally, before I call up our next speaker, it was 2003. It was June, and I had the privilege of being part of the German Marshall Memorial Fellowship Program. And the last leg of our journey was in Bratislava, Slovakia. And as part of our trip of exchange, elected officials from America going abroad, we would travel different cities. And what amazed me in Bratislava was the incredible preservation of the synagogues and the cemeteries. And when I asked one of the Slovakian leaders, why was it that across Europe so much waste had been made by the Third Reich in terms of wanting to erase the memory of the Jewish community, the person said to me very matter-of-factly that by the time the Nazis came to Sudetenland, before they came to Bratislava, they had become extremely efficient in how they would kill people. And so there was no reason to topple the cemeteries or burn the temples, because they came for the people and they left these structures standing. Well, in the middle of town was a beautiful old Jewish cemetery from the 1840s. And unbeknownst to the communists who eventually took over, one of the foremen was secretly a person who practiced the Jewish faith. And he made sure that when they paved their freeway through the middle of town, they encased this Jewish cemetery. And years later, after everyone died, and they began their own lakefront plan, and they removed the road, they discovered a perfectly preserved cemetery in the middle of downtown Bratislava. So what did people do to commemorate it? They decided that they would recover it as it was protected. And they punched in the ceiling these beautiful glass rectangles that from the surface looked like gravestones, but inside looked like light. And when I asked a man who was one of the few remaining Jewish people in the city of Bratislava, in very broken English, I asked him what that meant to him. He said, despite everything that our community had gone through, despite the fact that people that he had known and parents of people he had known had died, let it be said that the Jews of this part of the world would punch holes in the darkness to let the light in. And so we thank them. And we thank those in Cleveland who punch holes in the darkness of racism and hatred and bigotry and fear. And while we were doing some of our research, as you saw not too far from here, in terms of geography, this comes from 1915. The vote for Goldman for council is a vote against the Ku Klux Klan. For Cleveland News, endorsed here by our newspaper. Not in the South, not in a country far away, not even over 100 years ago. This is less than 100 years. And so tonight we thank our Jewish brothers and sisters for reminding us that no matter what life deals, this is one community that gives back love.